All right, today we're diving into a really powerful fable. It's all about identity, fitting in, and, that journey to figure out who you really are. This is the story of the hidden wolf.
So right off the bat, I've got a question for you, and I want you to just kind of let it sit in the back of your mind as we go through this. Here it is. Are you living as a sheep or a wolf? Just think about that as we get into the story. Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. We're deep in the wilderness, and our story kicks off with a moment that's both a beginning and an end, a birth and a death that sets one little creature on a pretty unusual path.
So, a mother wolf gives birth to her pup, but then, tragically, she dies almost immediately. This leaves the little newborn pup completely alone, totally confused. And what happens? It just happens to stumble across a flock of sheep. And, instinct takes over. It joins them, and boom, just like that, its entire world, its reality is set.
And right away, this is where you see this huge internal conflict start to brew, even if the wolf itself has no idea it's happening. I mean, look at this. On one hand, you have its true nature, right? The instinct to hunt meat, the urge to howl, that raw power. But then, on the other hand, look at what it's learning to do. Grazing on grass, bleating like a sheep, and just living a life completely ruled by fear.
So, when faced with this massive contradiction, what does the wolf do? Well, it does what a lot of us do, honestly. It takes the easy way out. It picks the path of least resistance. It chooses the comfort, the safety of just fitting in.
And I mean, it goes all in. This young wolf completely takes on the life of a sheep. It's out there grazing on grass, which is totally bizarre for a predator, right? It never even thinks about howling. And whenever danger shows up, it runs for its life in a panic, right there with the rest of the flock. But here's the kicker, and this is so important. This wasn't some act. The wolf genuinely, firmly believed it was a sheep.
Yeah, this quote from the story just hits the nail on the head. It says everything. The people we surround ourselves with, our own personal flock, they have this unbelievable power to shape how we see ourselves. It's just a crazy reminder of how easy it is to soak up the identity of the group, sometimes without even realizing it.
But here's the thing about living in a comfortable little bubble. They can't last forever, right? Sooner or later, reality is going to come knocking. And for our wolf, that knock sounds an awful lot like a growl.
So one day, this old wise wolf is just out doing his thing, roaming the wilderness, and he sees something that makes him stop dead in his tracks. This completely bizarre sight. A young, strong wolf living with sheep. He's totally baffled. He's got to check this out. And right here, this is the moment that's about to turn our young wolf's whole world upside down.
So what does the old wolf do? He charges! The sheep, of course, freak out, total panic. They scatter everywhere. And what's so wild is that our young wolf does the exact same thing. He runs for his life, just like a terrified sheep. It makes it super easy for the old wolf to single him out, corner him, and, well, now the real confrontation is about to begin.
And in this moment, cornered, filled with pure terror, what does the young wolf do? He's trembling, pleading for his life, and claiming he's just an ordinary sheep. Think about that. He is so completely, 100% convinced of this false identity that even when he's staring another wolf in the face, he still thinks he's a sheep.
But the old wolf, he's wise. He looks at this trembling creature and he sees the deep, deep confusion, and he realizes, okay, this isn't about a hunt anymore. This is about something way bigger. It's about helping this young wolf finally see a truth he's been blind to his whole life.
And I love this part of the story because it takes such a beautiful turn. Instead of force, instead of aggression, the old wolf shows true wisdom. He doesn't just bark at him, "You're a wolf." No, he guides him, gently pushes him towards a place where he can figure it out for himself. The edge of a still, quiet river.
And the old wolf, he doesn't say a thing. He doesn't have to. He just lets nature do the talking. Because here's the thing, no matter what you believe about yourself, no matter what everyone else has told you, the water doesn't lie.
And this really brings us to a huge takeaway from this whole story. Let's call it the mirror moment. You know what I'm talking about? It's that sudden flash of clarity, that aha moment of self-realization that just completely shatters a false identity and shows you the truth of who you've been all along. So he looks down, and for the very first time, the young wolf actually sees himself. And it's not the scared little grass eater he thought he was. No, he sees a predator. He sees strength. The face staring back at him from the water, it's undeniable. It's the face of a wolf.
Okay, so Seeing the truth, that's a huge step. But actually accepting it and then living that truth, that's the real game changer. That's the transformation. And that's what brings us to the most powerful part of this whole story. The second he recognizes himself in the water, something just awakens inside him. This deep, primal sound starts to rise up, and out comes his first howl. It's not a weak little bleat. It's a powerful, authentic howl that just echoes across the wilderness, basically shouting his real identity to the entire world.
You see, that howl is more than just a sound. It's him breaking free from what you could call a mental trap. And what's that? Well, it's when we take all the false weaknesses and limitations that our environment, our flock, puts on us, and we mistakenly accept them as who we are. For the wolf, believing he was a sheep, that was his mental trap.
So that begs the question, right? How do we get out of our own mental traps? Well, this story actually gives us a pretty solid roadmap. First up, you've got to confront your own reflection. You have to be brave enough to look at yourself for who you really are, away from the influence of the flock. Next, you have to question those things you think are your weaknesses. Are they really yours, or are they just things you learned to believe? Third, embrace your real power. Recognize the strengths that have been there all along. And finally, you've got to find your howl. You have to express who you truly are and do it loud and proud.
And really, this gets to the absolute heart of the whole story. Your true potential, it isn't something you have to build from scratch. It's something that's already there, just waiting to be uncovered. It's kind of like a mirror that's just been hidden under layers and layers of dust. You know, the dust of what other people expect from you, the dust of all that pressure, and the dust of all the fears we've learned along the way.
And so, we've come full circle. The point of this whole thing isn't about becoming a wolf, it's about realizing you were one all along. So the final question I want to leave you with isn't, are you a sheep or a wolf? The real question you need to ask yourself is this: what dust is covering your mirror?